Every day, many are being put into prison for the use of illegal drugs, violence, thievery, and many other reasons. 67% of these criminals will return to prison within 3 years of their release. Mr. President, to stop reoffenders from committing crime, the criminal justice system should focus more on criminal rehabilitation than punishment, and also create more programs to support reoffenders. Unlike putting people to prison, rehabilitation addresses the issue or reasons of why the criminals have broken the law. These criminals can be corrected, and to prevent them from committing crimes after they are released, the criminal must learn how to deal with their issues that lead them in committing crimes. I have interviewed Mr. Ken Rawls, an educator who taught at the local state prison of Missouri, on why it is important for criminals to be corrected.
Well, if there are not enough problems to help them teach about how to cope with personal issues like drugs and everyday tasks, they become institutionalized and possibly learn more from criminal behavior. A lot of these prisoners come in to prison quite young, and the old prisoners teach them a life that's not a good life. It's not one they can use when they get on the outside. So people like me that taught GED showed those men that we really cared about them. We did help them with their personal issues.
Some criminals may not be able to change, but that doesn't mean all criminals can't be corrected. The criminals who can change and want to change just need a right method of correction. However, in prison, if the criminals want to change, they have not yet learned how to deal with the issues they may have. Education is also a necessary step in the process of rehabilitation. It is important for criminals to have basic knowledge, because if they do not know how to read, write, or do simple math, it is very hard to work certain jobs even at a minimum pay rate. Education gives criminals a chance to learn about things they have never been able to learn correctly.
When they make a decision to stay sober, keep a job, and support family, they have a much better chance of not reoffending if that's their attitude when they get out. But staying sober, even in prison, you might be surprised to know that they have ways of making their own intoxicants and drugs, and are always catching people trying to smuggle drugs into the prison. And but anyway, if they can overcome some of their problems even there within prison, it's going to help them on the outside.
A large portion of these offenders may have mental issues that cause them to break the law. Jailing offenders with mental illnesses can keep them away from society, but is only a short-term solution.
Those who suffer from mental illness face great challenges in their lives. And when those with mental illness come into contact with our criminal justice system, the challenges become even greater. I learned this firsthand approximately 30 years ago when I was a county prosecuting attorney in Greene County, Ohio. I learned how important it is that our mental health community and our law enforcement community work together to deal with mentally ill offenders. This kind of coordination is vital because people afflicted with mental illness are incarcerated at significantly higher rates than the general population. Specifically, approximately 5% of the American population has a mental illness, but about 16% of the state prison population in this country has such an illness. The Los Angeles County Jail, for example, at any one time typically has more mentally ill inmates than any hospital in the country.
During the last decades, the number of mentally ill has increased. These criminals do not belong in jail. The criminal justice system must create more programs for mental therapy. Otherwise, the criminals that possess mental sicknesses will not change after they are released. Instead, they will be more likely to commit crimes again.
Unfortunately, however, the reality of our criminal justice system is that jails and prisons are not equipped to provide a therapeutic environment for the mentally ill. And in fact, mentally ill inmates often become even sicker in jail. Once released from jail or prison, many mentally ill people end up on the streets. With limited resources and little or no ability to handle their illness alone, they often commit additional offenses resulting in their rearrest and reincarceration.